Hey y'all, today's podcast, Shit I'm 30, is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/shitI'm30. Over 180,000 titles to choose from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, MP3 player, or even your computer if you're at work. I have to tell you that if you haven't listened to Black Privilege, Opportunity Comes to Those Who Created by Charlamagne Tha God, you need to go listen to it like right now. If you've already read it or listened to the book on Audible, this episode today is going to make so much more sense to you. So go download it if you haven't, audibletrial.com/shitI'm30. He narrates his own book, so it's just like him telling you his story in your ear. Also, if you don't want to listen to that book, or like I said, you already have, you can get any book for free. Just go to the website. I'll have it linked. Put your information in, download your book. And if you want to keep the membership like I have for the past 3 years, I literally go through a book a month. You know, keep your membership. If not, you can go ahead and cancel it if it's not for you. But you can, I know you guys are going to love it. So go ahead and get your free trial. And if you haven't listened to Black Privilege, go ahead and get it now. Also, today's podcast is brought to you by the sponsors of our first podcast live show, Allures Law Firm, criminal and family law attorney, and Loud Gallery. The show is October 20th. It starts at 7 and is hosted by comedian at Funny Brown Girl. I'm really excited about her opening the show. She's hilarious. It's been on HBO. She does improv comedy shows all the time. She's really, really funny. You can still purchase your tickets at www.shitI'm30.eventbrite.com. And remember that this show is bigger than me, bigger than the podcast itself. I want to take it back to our community, and the proceeds will go to the nonprofit Women on the Rise. So let's get to the show. Welcome back to another episode of Shit I'm 30 with me, your host, Carla. And for shit you should know this week, I really was going to start talking about the whole Kavanaugh Senate fake trial thing that was going on. And I was like, you know what? Let's not, because it's everywhere. You guys can find out everything that happened. You guys have all seen the clips. Hell, we've seen them a million times. They're funny as fuck. And I was watching it at work and on my way to an appointment. And let me tell you, that entire day was such a shit show. It was better than a Jerry Springer show. It was like Maury letting somebody know that they weren't the daddy. It was good. I mean, if y'all watched it, you know it was good. But what I do want to touch on is the fact that all this comes to fruition because a lot of us have not taken voting seriously, myself included. Midterms for me weren't a big deal. I don't think I've ever voted in midterms, and I'll admit to that. I have voted since I was 18 in the main elections for presidency, and that's all we think about. But when you look into the politics of this country, the president can't do much without the Senate, without the Congress. The state laws are not always federal laws. You know, our state politicians make laws here and pass laws here that are important. Like in California, y'all can smoke some weed. Here, you guys in Florida, we're saying, oh, why can't marijuana be legal? We go to jail for just a little bit. You know what? Who's making those choices are the local politicians. So if you're out there and you have time to tweet and you have time to put an Instagram post about how it's not fair that we can't do marijuana here. Well, not we, because I don't want none of that. I start crying. You know, it's not for me. But for those of you that it is, it's a big time for you. If you have the chance and if you have the privilege to go vote, get your ass out there and vote. The elections are November 6th. Another thing that's really big that's coming up is gun control and stand your ground here in Florida. That's a local state law. Stand your ground does not happen in other states. Therefore, we need to stop these people that think that it's okay to pull out their guns and just shoot you just because they know they have a privilege where they won't go to jail or might not get charged, most likely will not get charged, to stop playing around with us. You know what I'm saying? So if we're out here and we vote, we can get rid of that law, and we don't need any more cases like Trayvon Martin's case, and we don't need any more Zimmermans out here in the street. Also, Hurricane Maria a year ago brought a lot of Puerto Ricans here to Central Florida, to New York. I mean, all over the states. We came in an influx. I mean, I've been here for a long time, but a lot of my people just came in, and I want people to know that there are a lot of issues that happen with the Spanish community, the Hispanic community within Florida and other states, that we need to make sure that we're voting people that have our best interests at heart, and they're not trying to make things a lot more difficult for us just because they can. You know, that's all it boils down to. If we don't vote for them, someone else will. vote for the ones that are against us, and we have no choice. We have nothing to say. Our time to say something is during the voting. Now, the separation of almost 3,000 immigrant children due to the white supremacist zero tolerance policy at the Mexican border, that is huge. There's the revocation of citizenship and passports of the Hispanic American citizens. Everything impacts Latinos. So Latinos need to get their asses up and go to vote. Again, it's November 6th, and that's when you get to vote. In Florida, I know it's register to vote florida.gov. That is the website you go to make sure, see if you have registered. You put your name and your date of birth, I believe, and it tells you if you are registered. If you're not registered, then you register right there. Register to vote florida.gov. Now, there's one amendment. There's like 12 amendments that we're voting on. There's a bunch of different ones. You go to ballotpedia.org. You enter your address, and it gives you a sample ballot, exactly what you will be seeing when you show up to the voting area. So when I go vote usually, and again, I'm going to say this and I'm going to be completely transparent because I'm sure I'm not the only one. I show up to vote and I'm like, yeah, I'm voting, but I know I'm voting for the president, or I know I'm voting for the governor. And then I see all these other things, amendments, and you see governor, attorney general, commissioners, Florida chief financial officer, and you're like, who are these people? I only came here to vote for the governor. I only came here to vote for the president or the vice president, So we need to go to ballotpedia.org, and it'll give you a sample ballot, and you can see who is running for what and what their plans are for us when they get elected, if they get elected, and how they're going to help us. Again, that is ballotpedia.org. Super dope. But the one amendment that I did want to talk about was Florida Amendment 4, and that was voting rights restorations for felons initiative. So a couple of years back, I was at Bible study, and I remember having a conversation with Alicia and Laron and some of the people that were there. And I was ignorant to think, and I'll say this now, and I think they pretty much changed my mind that day and enlightened me and educated me on the fact that felons can't vote. I already knew that. And they asked me, well, do you think that's right? And I said, well, yeah, if you committed a crime and it was a felony, then you can't vote. You lost your right, period, point blank. And then they explained to me, well, what's the point of them going to prison? What's the point of them giving their time and serving their time, and when they come out and they're a part of society, they still have to pay taxes. They can go to the military and they can get drafted. They can do all these things just like everybody else, and they're affected by all these politicians and all these policies, but they can't vote. I opened my eyes and I was like, you know what? I don't know why I thought that it was okay. I don't know why I thought it was okay to still punish them after we already punished them and they served their time. So there is an amendment for this midterm, Amendment 4, where you can vote for felons to get the right to vote. And honestly, I'm voting for that. I think it's super important. They served their time. They're paying taxes. They can open businesses. They can do all of that, but they don't have a choice on who is representing them in the government. No, that's not right. And it's not. It's basically put together so blacks and Latinos and minorities that go to jail and are put in jail unfairly, when they come out, they still don't have a voice. And that way the whites can stay doing what they do. And we need to change that. So get out there November 6th and vote Florida Amendment 4 to restore rights of felons. Now, I just got back from Atlanta last night, and I'm going to give you guys basically a recap of my life since September 6th, I believe it was. I put out an episode with Dexty, and the episode was basically, I was feeling really uncomfortable, and I told you all that, you know, I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I didn't love my job, my career, not my job. Love my job, love the company I'm in, but I just don't think accounting is for me. And I needed to do something about it, but I had never voiced it out other than to my friends or to my boyfriend or to just myself. And I'd just been crying and depressed. So I put it out there and I said, you know what? That's it. I want to change my job. So that same day that I dropped that episode, I went to work and I spoke to the director of recruiting. And I went to her office and I told her, listen, I don't know what it is, but accounting is not for me. I went to school, I have all these student loans, but I don't want to do this anymore. I love the company. I don't know exactly what I want to do. I know that I want to do something with the podcast. I'm pretty sure I want to do radio one day, but that's just all so far-fetched to me right now. What I would like to do is find a different department that I can go to where I'm interacting with people, where I'm solving some problems, where I'm talking, and just moving around and being myself and being able to show my creative side and being able to show my problem solving side. So she gave me a couple of different departments within the company. She's like, reach out to them, speak to your managers about this, and see if we can find somewhere for you that you might fit in within the company. I was like, you know what? Perfect. So about an hour later, I went to my boss's office, my manager's, and one of them wasn't there, but she's like, just come talk to me. She's like, well, what's up? So I told her, listen, I just don't think that I want to be here in this position anymore. I spoke to the director of recruiting, and the course of action that I'm going to take is to reach out to other directors, and I wanted to speak to you beforehand. I just felt like that was the respectful thing to do. Going behind her back or do it just would have seemed shady and just not me. So she's like, well, you want to quit? Like what? And I was like, I do. I don't want to be an accountant anymore. And I'm not leaving to go be an accountant somewhere else, because if I'm going to be an accountant, I'll stay here. I love it here. You guys are great. Everybody's great. If she offered me double my pay at that moment, I knew I would still reject it. And that's how strongly I feel about the fact that I wanted to move on. So she's like, you know what? Thank you for telling me. And then she told me, reach out to this person. This might be good for you. So I did. I reached out to another department and I went for a meeting with them. And it was cool. There was one position that I thought that would fit me. I reached out to two other ones and I haven't heard back from them, which is fine, because I know they don't have positions available. It was just whether something would be open from like now to maybe December. And that's the time frame I gave myself to stay there, at least till December, to find something else. And if I couldn't find anything, I was going to start looking elsewhere. Okay, so I released this. I speak to the managers and I go on about my life, So I found out that there was this podcast live here in Orlando, and it was a radio personalities show. So I'm like, I would love to get her attention. I want to start talking to more radio personalities. I've never really had a mentor to say. I do have people that I talk to. I do have Ricky, who I'm super happy that I know and I can consider a friend, and I can text him at any time and say, hey, I need your help. I want to do this. What should I do? And he always answers me. He always helps me. He came on the show a couple episodes ago to do the platonic relationships episode, and he is awesome. So I'm like, I need to get and meet people within the industry if I want to get in it, because I don't know anything about it other than doing my show and teaching myself certain things. But I know there's a corporate side to being in radio. So I go to the show and I wore this huge fuck you shirt because I knew that would just catch people's attention. And I'm like, I need to get her attention. I need to speak to her. So I get to the show and I do meet her and I tell her about the podcast. She tells me about hers. Her show was amazing. And, from there we follow each other on social media. I thought she was a pretty dope person. I listened to her podcast. Going about my day. Go back to work. That was a couple days after I released my episode. Fast forward to last week, Thursday. At 4:00, I go on Facebook and I see a post saying that a big radio station here in Orlando is hiring a full-time position. And I'm like, oh my God, this is me. This is for me. I need it right now. So I go right away to the website and I apply. And right after I apply, I reach out to who I had just met a week before at the live show. And I let her know, hey, so I just applied to this. I would love to work there. And she's like, oh, this is great. So I was like, okay, cool. She knows that I applied. I can only wait now. But I said, you know what? No, I cannot not just wait. I'm going to go on the Instagram of the main person for this show. And I'm going to let him know that I applied, that I want to work with him, that I'm ready. Like, give me a chance. Just give me a shot. I sent the DM. All of a sudden, I receive a DM back. And this man says to me, where can I listen to your show? This happens. This all goes from 4:00 until 7:00. By 7, I'm having a conversation with this man. And he tells me, here's my email. Email me so we can schedule you a sit-in. And I'm like, oh, what? Are you serious? Like live on the radio? Okay, cool. I'm emailing him. So now I'm having this conversation. And I'm saying this all because I didn't expect this to happen so fast. I wanted mentors. I wanted to learn from people. I wanted to network, keep doing my podcast the way that I'm doing and find something else, maybe in business for a couple of more months or another year where I felt more comfortable other than accounting while I reach my goal. but everything is going so fast. And I'm like, okay, well, this is crazy. This is fun. This is good. And if it's for me, it's for me. I am not, yes, my hopes are up and I'm excited, but I'm trying to look at it as if it's for me, it's for me and nothing can take it away. But I must keep working hard towards it. I must keep contacting these people. I have to give it my all, and I have to know that I have to do my best when I get there, because there are plenty of other super talented radio personalities that want this job as well. And people that are hoping, just like me, to be on the radio, and they're just as good, if not better than me, you know? So I am waiting on a date for this. And a week ago, I saw that Charlamagne posted a post that he was going to be in Atlanta. Now, if you know me and know anything about me, I have an idol. And there's two people that I look up to and I listen to all the time. One of them is Oprah, like Auntie Oprah. Then there's Charlamagne. I listen to The Breakfast Club every single morning. And if I miss it because I'm listening to something else, or for whatever reason they have a podcast, so I listen to them on the podcast and it doesn't have any commercials, which is awesome. But I love to hear all three of them, they're dynamic, how they do, but his opinion. I read his book twice. I pre-ordered his book, Shook One, as soon as he promoted it, and he said that it was out for pre-order. I truly respect him, and the most that I respect of him is the fact that he had some, what he calls cringe-worthy moments on the radio in the past, and he said some things that are pretty fucked up, and some might be pretty ignorant, but he has grown from that. And I have watched him grow, and I have listened to him grow on the radio. And he has said, listen, I don't feel that way anymore. I've changed my train of thought on this. I've changed my opinion on this. And he sticks to himself, and he's true to himself. He speaks his truth at all times. And that's exactly who I want to be and how I want to be and how I keep portraying myself. So I said to myself, one day this man is going to be my mentor. One day this man is going to know my name. One day I'm going to be able to text him and say, you know, I need your help. Help me do this. How do you think I'm doing this right? Do you think I should change something up? So I swiped up and I bought the ticket to the conference, and I said, well, this is a place where I can find him. I can see him in person, because I can go to the radio station and wait for him to go in or go out. But probably when he's going to work, he's running late. And if he's leaving to go to his family or to another function. So I had to find him somewhere where I can find a way to get 2 minutes of his time. I booked the ticket to the conference, and then I last minute booked a flight to Atlanta, round trip. I left at 6 a.m. and my returning flight was at 10 p.m. So I said, Carla, you got one shot in just a couple of hours to get to him and to express to him why you want him to be your mentor, why you admire him, why you think that you're the right person for him to mentor, and why he's just the right one for you. So I'm in this conference and I get there early. I'm the first one there. And I believe I met the DJ, and he's like the social media coordinator for the event, RIDE. So it's Rolling Out RIDE Conference. And it's all about innovation and technology and entertainment. So I get there 8 o'clock. They still hadn't started. Nobody was there. So I start meeting people, and it's about 11 something. And we're going off into some breakout sessions. I go upstairs and I'm going to a workshop. But someone that I really wanted to see, she's like a Georgia State representative of some sort. She's a speaker, super inspirational. And I really wanted to see her. But as I'm walking upstairs, I was running to the bathroom. I look to my left and I see Wax. Now, if you guys know who Charlamagne is, you know who Wax is. Wax is his really good friend and his security, basically. He doesn't go anywhere without Wax. So I see Wax and I run to the restroom because I have to go pee. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, okay, Charlamagne is in the same building as me. He's here. Whoa, like I don't have to wait until the main time when he's speaking to everybody. And I knew I was going to have to like fight some people to get to him, because there's hundreds of people here just to see him. So I go in the bathroom, I go to the workshop, and I'm sitting there and I'm texting my friend Mandy, and I'm like, listen, oh, he's here. I need to speak to him. I need to find him. She's like, well, go. But then she's busy with her friends in New York and she's not texting me back enough. No, I don't have that push to tell me like, just do it. Go, go, go. And finally, I'm sitting there and I'm restless. I'm not listening to a word this lady is saying. So I shove my purse under my seat and I walk out of the room. And I go and find Wax. And I walk up to Wax. The first time I passed by him, if you guys know who Wax is, he's a little bit of a perv. So he might not speak much, but he has this look and this like head shake, like, I'll smash, like, come here, girl, let me talk to you type thing. And I'm like, God, that's not what I'm looking for from this guy. And I had met him before in New York for 2 seconds. at the Horrible Decisions live show. So I see him standing and talking to someone. He had just touched like a candle. He was doing something. So I go up to him and said some smart ass shit like, oh, don't touch people's candles. Something to that effect. And he starts talking to me. And I was like, hi, I introduced myself. My name is Carla. And he's like, I feel like I know you. And I'm like, well, I have met you before for literally 2 seconds. And I told him who we knew we had in common. He's like, oh, okay. So we're talking for a couple of seconds. And I said, listen, I came over here because I need a favor. And he's looking at me like, bitch, what? And I said, I need 2 minutes of Charlamagne's time. Like, where is he? He's like, he's in the room doing media. And I'm like, I just need to talk to him for 2 minutes. And he looks at me, he's like, for what? And I'm like, well, I came here just to let him know, like, I need him as my mentor. So I started telling him about my podcast and how I want to do radio, how I have an interview. And I'm like, I really need 2 minutes to just give him my spiel, you know? So Charlamagne is doing what he's doing. Me and Wax are just sitting there talking. We're just cool. And he's telling me he likes my sneakers. And I'm telling him, like, you know, we're just having a regular conversation. Some ignorant shit he was saying, of course, because it's Wax. And all of a sudden, Wax gets some breakfast. They were bringing him food. So he's eating it right there at the table with me. We're standing up at a high top table. And the doors open and all these people come out and Charlamagne comes out. And I hear another security or some people like, Wax, he needs to go to the restroom. And he's like, okay. So Wax is still eating and he's not moving. And I'm like, oh, did you have to go do like whatever you do with the man? But instantly I'm like, okay, this is my chance. He's right in front of me, literally 20 feet from me. And my hands are shaking. I'm like, this is the man that for years I've admired. And I don't get starstruck. And it wasn't a starstruck thing because I'm not looking at him as a star. I'm looking at him as someone that I admire, as someone that I want to be. So I don't think I've ever been starstruck. It was just, this is my chance, Carla. Like, take it. Stop being a little bitch. Like, why are you just standing here? This is what you came here for. This is what you spend your money for. So I look at Wax and I said, can I just have, if I go up to him, will you stop me? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, can I just please go talk to him for 2 minutes? Just please. And he is eating his eggs, I believe it was. And he goes, go. And I don't know. But the first thing I was like, okay. So I walk over to him and he's taking a picture. And in between him taking a picture with someone, I said, I just need to talk to you for 2 minutes. And I'm like, I'm 30. I give him my spiel. Honestly, I know I told him to the effects of I'm 31. I have a podcast. I'm living my whole career. And I have student loans because I want to do radio. And I'm just not happy anymore. And I need a mentor. So I'm kind of old to be asking for a mentor. In my opinion, I thought I was old to be asking for a mentor in something completely different and to be shooting so high. I'm like, I'm shooting for the stars. You have someone local, which I want as well, but I'm shooting for the person that I believe to me is my idol and who I want to be again. So other than that, I don't know what else I said. I know I was talking really fast and someone had to take a picture. So I was like, oh, well, go ahead and take that picture because I'm not finished. So he takes the picture and I come back to speak to him. And I tell him, I want you to be my mentor. Here's a problem though. I don't live in New York. I'm in Florida. And this man says to me, y'all fucking listen. He's like, well, that's what phones are for. Where's your phone? My phone is in my hands. He's like, give me your phone. He takes my phone and he puts his phone number in it. And he's like, you can call me or text me. Like, we got this. You got this. And I don't know if I don't even think I was breathing. I honestly don't think I was breathing. And I'm like, holy shit, sir, did you just give me your phone number? So Carla, like he put his phone number in his email. So I turned around and he had to go to the restroom and they left. And I had to run to the bathroom too. I was freaking the fuck out, but I'm not going to make a damn scene out there. I'm like, Carla, you're going to keep your shit together. I run to the bathroom and the first person I called was Dex. And I'm telling Dex and Dex is like, oh my God, I have goosebumps. And I knew that Mandy was out with her friends, but I'm like, you know what? I don't care. So I call Mandy and the moment she gets on FaceTime, all I can do is cry and fuck, I'm going to cry here on the podcast. And it's because nobody's in this room because I'm not a water bag in public, but I'm crying because I didn't expect this to happen to me. I want it and I've said it and I want it out there, but this is what I've wanted. I lost my dad 2 years ago and shit has been rough. When you lose someone who you're so close to and you lose someone that my dad might not have been the best husband, but he was a fucking good dad in his own way. He was crazy and he had very non-traditional ways of being a father. But I miss my fucking father. And I knew that if I was doing this, he'd be like, just go. Or he would have bought my ticket, but since he's been gone, I've had to come up with save money myself. And guide myself with the help of no one, and knowing that my family is not supportive of me, that I don't have a relationship with my family, which that's a whole nother spiel that I have, but it's so important. And I remember, I think I did tell him this. I said, I lost my dad and I don't have my rock, and I don't have anyone that a man that I can call to give me advice on certain things that I have been through shit, you know? So if you've heard Black privilege, you know, Charlamagne was a hothead. He was out there selling drugs. He wasn't getting rich off of it, but he was in jail. And he had rape accusations because he threw a party. You know, he's been through hell, and he's been fired, and he didn't go to college. And he's had so many obstacles that he had to get through. And I feel like I've been through so much, and I've had so many obstacles, and I've never had someone be a fan of mine other than my father. And I miss that. So when he gives me his phone and Amanda gets on the phone, just because she knows how much I love him, I break down crying, and I'm like, I took a picture. I have his number. Like, I can come to New York and I can reach out to him, and if I need his help, he's going to be there. So it's all tears of joy, because 2 years ago I was crying at my table like, I feel alone. I have nothing. Like, what do I do now? What's my next step? And I didn't know where my life was headed. And just 2 years, I finished school. I graduated. I got an amazing job. I saved the money that I have to have, and I found my passion, and I found my purpose. So this is all to tell you guys that follow your dreams, man. Like, that sounds so generic, and I've been hearing it for so many years, but it's so true. Follow your dreams. eBay was a sponsor of the show, and there were two women that came with them, and one of them, I believe she has a thrift shop called Reflections of Trinity, and she is a Jamaican American woman. And she talks about how her parents, she comes from a upper middle class or maybe an upper class family. Her parents are physicians and they're very well off. But when they had her, they put her in a convent when she was 12. So she was raised by nuns. And she said to herself that she would always raise her children. Her story, basically, she says that she graduated at 15, went to Canada to study, and they had something called the 13th grade. Basically, they thought she was too young to be in a college campus. So she did her first year of college on this 13th grade campus. And at 15 years old, she fell in love. And when she falls in love, she finds herself, I believe it was at 17, just like me, pregnant. And she vowed that if God ever gave her any children, she would raise them herself. So she didn't go back to school. And she worked and she became a business. Now she makes so much money off of this eBay store. She worked for 25 years, and when she finished working, she started this thrift store to give back to the community. Now she writes weekly $10,000 checks to feed families all over her community. I believe she's from Atlanta, the Atlanta area, Georgia area. And again, it's Reflections of Trinity. I don't remember her first name, but as she was talking, my eyes are watering, and I'm like, Carla, keep yourself together, because your lashes are gonna come off, baby. Like, you put on lashes at the airport, and I don't think you put enough glue on them strips. So afterwards, I just felt like I wanted to go say thank you to her. And this is before I meet Charlamagne. So I go say thank you to her. And I speak to her, and I'm like, wow, like I have a similar story, but I just want to let you know that what you said to me today inspired me, you know, to just go for what I want. And she says like one word to me, and my eyes just start like, it's waterfalls. Now, I run to the bathroom, I finish, I give her a hug, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Like, this is not what I came here for, to fucking cry. I go to the bathroom, and I'm wiping myself off, and this is all before I meet Charlamagne. So by the time I get to meet Charlamagne, my lashes are already a little loose, because the glue is already wet. So when all this happens and I cry, I'm still in shock. I still can't believe that all this happened. I met Spectacular from Pretty Ricky, and I asked for his help. When he was there, he's like, well, I'm going to help whoever asked me for help. I waited for him, and I said, I need your help with the podcast. Then I was walking down the street, and I see Steve Canal, which is an executive for Miller Coors, the beer company. And I said, well, I need a sponsor for my podcast. And he said, well, here's the contact of a friend of mine. Tell him that I sent you. And I have all these contacts and all these things. And I only went for one sole purpose. And that was to make Charlamagne my mentor. And I did that. Just me. I did that. And I'm 31. I could have done this shit when I was 21. But if I would have done it when I was 21, I wouldn't have the life experiences that I have now. I wouldn't have the heartbreaks. I wouldn't have the disappointments. I wouldn't have fucked up as much as I did. And all those, what we call quote unquote fuck ups and mistakes, led me to be who I am today. And all the things that you guys have done back in the day have led you to be who you are today. So if your goal is to be a teacher, be the damn best teacher you can be. If your goal is to be a CEO of some company, be the best employee until you move up to being that CEO. If your goal is to be a secretary because that's what you're good at, be the damn best secretary out there. I want to be a radio personality. I want to talk. I want to give back to the community. I want to start eventually a nonprofit. And my passion are girls and girls that are in high school and middle school and boys that are in high school and middle school that haven't seen professionals that look like them. Black and brown kids that haven't seen an attorney that look like them and growing up. They haven't seen a doctor that looks like them growing up. They haven't seen any other profession other than a basketball player or a singer or a rapper. You know, we're out here and we have to make a change for them because sometimes they're not privileged enough to have the chances that I've gotten or that other people have gotten. Their parents might be on drugs. They come from poverty. They leave school and they have to come home and take care of their brothers and sisters. They have to go home and cook. They have to go home and clean while their parents work 18-hour shifts a day to make sure they have a roof over their heads and that have food for them to be able to eat. So I want with my voice one day on radio and with this podcast, which is going to keep growing as long as I can get it. I don't ever want it to stop, to give back. All of this is to say I want a better life for myself and my daughter, of course, but I also want a better life for those out there and to give opportunities to those who don't have it. I want to create those opportunities. So we have to create opportunities for ourselves, which I just did yesterday. And I proved to myself that whatever I want to do and I set my mind to it, I can fucking do it. But I want to create opportunities for them to take advantage of it. So this is my fucking story of how I put something out into the universe. I told God this is what I wanted to do, and it happened. And now it's time for me to pay back somehow and keep working because this is only the beginning. It's like the tip of it all. Like there's so much work I have to do. I'm so aware of that. Like Charlamagne's not going to sit here and be like, hey, so you're my co-host tomorrow and I'm going to make you rich. No, that's not the way it works. I need to bust my ass to show him that I'm really committed into what I want to do and that he's working with someone that is working on themselves. So that is my story of how I met my idol, how I got him to agree to be my mentor. And hopefully you guys are going to see some amazing things happening with this podcast and with my life. And I hope to inspire some of you guys out there because shit's not easy and losing a parent is not easy. I miss my dad every single day. I'm telling you guys this story and wishing that he was across the sea from me and I can call him and he could be here talking with his raspy voice like, you fucking bitch. That's how he used to talk to me, you know? But anyways, thank you guys for supporting this podcast. Thank you guys for giving me the platform to say whatever the fuck I want to say and supporting me. And this live show is coming up October 20th and I have more to say. And I don't bank or put money or bet anyone that I'm going to cry because I'm not crying in front of y'all. I'm a thug. We don't do this. I don't cry in front of people. But anyways, let's move on to unsolicited advice. Now that I'm done being a crybaby, let's go ahead and get started. So the first one is, I've decided that I no longer want to be in my marriage of 10 years. I've thought long and hard about this decision to the point that I haven't been able to sleep for years. I have no feelings left for my husband and I'm ready to move on. Staying in this loveless marriage has taken its toll on me physically and psychologically. Unfortunately, for financial reasons, I just can't leave right now. It could take up to a year for us to be financially independent of one another. I've considered asking my husband if we could just live in the same house, but lead two separate lives. I'm afraid that as soon as I bring this up, he will try to leave immediately and not hang on and take care of our financial responsibilities. What would be the best way to deal with the fact that we need to live together for the next 9 to 12 months, but need to start transitioning our lives from being married to single? Is this even possible? Any advice that would be appreciated. Okay, so I have some things to say about this. When I was married to Ayana's dad and I wanted out, it was difficult because we both worked and I know that it would have been a little bit harder for him to do everything on his own. Same for me, but I had some backup. Like I had my father and I knew I would have help. Now being older, like you are, it's really important that you have these adult conversations. And if he's mature about this, you guys should be able to stay in the same house for 9 to 12 months as roommates. Most likely, one of you guys will need a roommate. He probably will too, unless you don't mention if he has a great job or if he has a lot of money or if he can take care of himself. But you guys have been together for a long time. I'm sure he can understand, hey, can we please be roommates for the next 9 to 12 months? I do think that during that time, it's not a time for you to bring a new man to the house if he's there. For him to bring a girl, it should be still some type of, I would say, respect in that sense, because you're just trying to help each other get on your feet to move on your own. But don't think about staying in a marriage just because you're unhappy. It's fucking hell. I couldn't do it. I did it for a while. We tried, and I wanted it to work. But once you know it's not going to work, it's not going to work. You're done. You're mentally checked out. Move on. Like, it's not worth it. And if you have to downsize, if you have to get a roommate and live in a tiny ass apartment for a year because he decides to leave right away, that's what you have to do. Who cares? What's the worst that can happen? That you end up homeless? I'm sure you have a friend that'll give you a couch, or you have your parents, or you have a brother or a sister. Or if you have to do, like I said, find a roommate and be in a tiny ass apartment and work 13, 14, 15 hours a day for a couple of months, that's just what you're going to have to do. It's not the end of the world. Divorce is not the end of the world. We can't keep staying with certain people just because we're scared of our finances. It's not worth it, honestly. So I would say just talk to him as an adult. I'm sure if you feel the way you do, he feels the same way also. Once you guys get divorced, separate your finances, go on about your way, and you're both single. You're both independent. Maybe one day you guys will be friends. Maybe not. But you will be happy, and you will find someone that makes you happy. So that's my advice for that. Just because I feel like a lot of people tell you should stay together, or you need to think about it, or, oh, you're being silly by leaving. Like I'm going to say, I'm leaving my job, Finances are not a reason for you to stay somewhere and be unhappy, but you need to also make calculated risks and know and have a plan of what you're going to do, and you'll be just fine. Now, this other letter is very, what's the word? It's disturbing. And if you have been, it's a warning, if you dealt with physical abuse, sexual abuse, it might be a little triggering. It triggered me, and I've never had it. It's a lot. So let's go with this one. I have a daughter with a man who was single when we conceived and married before her birth. I was 41 and he was 29. He asked if I have children, and I told him I did not, and had several unsuccessful attempts to conceive in a prior relationship. I figured I could not have children. We dated less than 2 months before I was pregnant. Despite this, termination was not an option. I learned about his wedding plans the day of my 3-month scan, which he attended with me, and at which time he shared his excitement about having a black child. We are both Afro-Caribbean. He is in an interracial marriage with a woman who has 3 of his children and is a stepmother to another girl by him. Wait, that's a lot of kids. When I learned that 4 months pregnant, I moved on. As of now, his wife does not know about my child, who is nearly 3 years old. I am not sure I should be the one to reveal these news to her. I do not want him. If he can cheat on her, I know he will cheat on me. However, interactions between us have become complicated. When he comes to visit, he expects to have sex with me. I have made clear to him that I do not want to have sex with him anymore, but twice in the last months, he has forced himself on me. He has pinned me down and pulled off my clothes despite my protests after visiting and putting our baby to sleep. I have fought and told him no to no avail. I did not have my father growing up, so I try not to deny contact between my daughter and her father, but boundaries are not respected. What should I do? Wow, this is crazy. First of all, the fact that you're writing this and not feeling scared for yourself, it's beyond me. To me, first of all, you're thinking about, his wife doesn't know. Who cares? That's not any of your concern. The person you should be calling are the authorities on this man. He just raped you. I don't give a damn if he's the father of your baby. Who cares? You're getting raped. And just because you didn't have your father doesn't mean you allow a man to treat you that way, to take advantage of you because you want your daughter to have a relationship with a monster. What are you teaching your daughter? Your daughter's going to be old enough one day to see what you're going through and see what kind of a man that is. He is disgusting. He is a monster. You should not want your daughter around a monster. Not every father, not every dad is a father, or not every father is a dad, however that goes. Some people just don't deserve to be around their kids. Some people don't deserve to have kids, period. And he is definitely one of them. You don't have to accept that kind of behavior. I think the police need to be called. I think you don't need to take any of that. And he shouldn't be around you or your daughter. Period, point blank. I just can't believe that you're writing this like 911. What are you doing typing? No, 911. Show up at the precinct. Like, let them know who he is. He does not belong in these streets, because I bet you if he's doing this to you, he's probably doing the same thing to his wife. He's probably doing this to someone else who he's cheating on his wife with. You're probably not the only one. This is just, it's crazy to me. I feel like you need therapy. Your child is going to need therapy. It's not normal. You're going to have your daughter going through things that she shouldn't because you think it's okay. And it breaks my heart to know that you're able to write this email before you go to authorities, all because you want your daughter to have a dad. All girls need their dads, but not a monster. A father should be a role model to their daughters. They should be loving. And what he's going to show your daughter is not that. And I don't even know what else to say. I'm so disturbed by this. And if someone out there is going through this, you don't need to accept this bullshit just so the father will be around the daughter. No, fuck that. Your daughter is better off just with you, and you can find someone else that'll play a father figure to her. No. If anyone's going through that, you don't need to accept that. And no one touches us without us wanting it. Period, point blank. That's it. You don't need to worry about him. And he's so much younger. Like, clearly it shows here that age doesn't even matter. When you're brainwashed and when you're having issues of your own, age does not matter. She's in her 40s. So if she was 41 and he was 29, she's 44 now and he's 32. It doesn't matter the age that you're in. Go to the police. This is just disgusting, and he's disgusting, and he needs to be locked up for real. Anyway, I'm going to get off this subject, and we're going to go to my favorite segment of the show, because I get to say whatever the fuck I want. I mean, I do it the whole time. But my favorite segment is Shit Talk. So in this episode, I'm being completely vulnerable and showing you guys and bringing you into my journey. As exciting as the whole weekend was, I'm very aware that this means nothing unless I put the work in. But the people that are out here that want to do better, that want to do more, that have the fear and they're scared to jump off, but you have these devils around you with these little voices like, no, you shouldn't go for that. No, it's not good enough. First, you should listen to some people, because maybe some people you're trying to be a singer and your voice sucks. Like if I go come out here and tell somebody, hey, I want to be the next Mariah Carey, y'all should laugh in my face. Y'all should tell me like you need to stay at your day job. Like, no, don't do that. But if you have a passion for something, if you're good at something, start working towards it, and don't worry about those that told you that you're not good enough. Don't worry about those that told you that you're too old. We're not too old. You're never too old. I've said this before. I'm 31. If I die at the same age as my father, I still have 29 years. Do I want to live another 29 years miserable? Because you're miserable? No, I don't. So take the step to go forward. Now, when everything happened on Saturday, Sunday, my cousin, Javier, who is honestly the one person in my family that can say, like, family, I can turn to, and he's always been supportive of me since I was a wild child, this crazy jit. He always stood up for me. He was always there for me. They live in Boston. Well, they just moved here. Thank God that everything happens for a reason. But live really far. He's a lot older than me, about maybe 12, 13 years older than me. So they were older when I was a kid. And he's always been there for me. So he said some things to me when I sent him the picture of Charlamagne and I'm like, gosh, I have so much to tell you. Like, I can't wait to see you. So he tells me, you look so happy because he probably doesn't know that I'm going to read this text, but whatever. He says, I remember sitting in your kitchen table a few years ago and seeing you cry broke my heart. But I remember telling you to go make a name for yourself, to start your own business or your own legacy. I love that smile. And that night, that day that he's talking about is right after my father passed away. Everything just went to shit. The family went to shit because the love of money is fucking evil. So he's talking to me and I'm telling him, you know, what do I do now? I haven't finished school. My dad is gone. The family is just torn apart. Like, what now? And it was at my dining room table. And I just remember bawling because I didn't know what was next. But he did say, you know, just start your own. Who cares about everyone else's opinion? Like, leave that shit alone. If people aren't treating you good, just turn around and do you. You don't need to depend on people that are bringing you down. And that's exactly what I did. And we're talking about just 2 years ago. It feels like I'm saying 2 years and I'm like, wow, I really haven't had my dad for 2 years when it feels like he was just here the other day. But time goes by really fast. So start now. Don't wait. Don't let people hold you back. Another message he said to me. So today I made a big choice. So I recorded part of this yesterday and today Unsolicited and Shit Talk, I'm recording the next day. And some crazy things happened this morning. I'll update you on that. But I said to him, I'm crazy. I did something and I'm scared. And he said to me, when Peter walked on water, all he needed was 3 things. Keep his eyes looking forward, faith, and courage to be the only one from his crew to do what was impossible. You have all 3 of those. Don't look back. Wow. First of all, isn't he dope? I literally have the dopest cousin ever. He's going to come on the podcast with his wife and you guys are going to love them. But wow, I'm not a super religious person and I do believe in God and I grew up in the church. I just have my religion issues, but I think I'm more spiritual than anything else. And when he says that to me, I'm just like, you're right. I just need to, my faith, whatever that may be, but just at least believe in myself, believe in what I'm doing and just keep being a good person. Keep looking forward. Just, focus. I need to be focused. Nothing can get me off of this focus right now. No partying, not going out, not drinking, none of it. I need to stay focused and courage. It takes so much courage to leave what you're comfortable with. And the people that are telling you that you're not good enough or you shouldn't do it or it's not the time, they don't have courage. They're cowards and you're not. I'm not going to be a coward anymore. I've been scared. I've been living in fear. I've been living behind people's shadows and thinking that I was meant to be something that I'm not and holding back and staying quiet. And I don't need to do that. And neither do you. If you feel like you have something you have to do, just do it. Listen to podcasts, listen to different audiobooks. Just learn more about what you want to do. Perfect your craft, which I'm still doing like I said, everything that has happened to me and the phone calls that I've gotten and the messages that I've gotten, they're not going to pay my bills. Me working hard, me hustling, putting my name out there and growing this show and growing my career, maybe in radio. That's what's going to pay my bills and what's going to make me happy. That's what's going to make you happy whenever you're doing what you want to truly do. So big fuck you to anyone who ever told me that I wasn't good enough, to the people and the person that told me that I did it wrong and that I've been suffering and that I had been living the life that I've lived or that I have struggled because I had my daughter and decided to be a mom first, because I was in the club working, because I didn't finish school first, because I graduated at 30 and that was just wrong. You know what? Fuck you. Half of those people don't have a degree themselves and they're unhappy. They might have money, but they're unhappy. And I'm not going to be unhappy. So I'm going to show everyone. Hi, kid. Can you please close the door? No. I'm recording. Thank you. I won't say F you to her, but God dog, she knows I'm recording. Anywho, so let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. Thank you to everyone for listening every week, for posting on your social media that you listen to the episode, for posting about the podcast, for posting about the live show. You guys have no idea how much that means to me, because I literally get more support from people that aren't even close to me, from people that I don't even know. And you guys are really what make the difference for me to be able to reach more people outside of Florida, outside of Orlando, outside of the United States, So anyways, this podcast, you guys know you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify. If you are on iTunes or Spotify, please subscribe. Please leave me a review. Just go to the review and say whatever you want. Say, hey, Carla, you're the bomb. Or, hey, Carla, stop cursing so much. Or, hey, Carla, whatever the hell you want to leave me. Or what you think about the show. Leave a review. It helps so much for the journey that I'm on and what I'm trying to do with the show. And again, don't forget about the live show. It's coming up. And I have really fun things coming up with that and more events that I'm going to tell you guys about. So rate and review and leave me a message on Instagram, post that you're listening to this, and I will make sure to repost it and say thank you, because I really want to acknowledge those of you that are listening to me talk. And this is a solo episode, so I'm sure you're tired of me talking and of my damn voice. So I'm getting the fuck up out of here. Bye.